Barakata Yahweh, Barakata Yahushai, Ba'ashem Rakakwadash, Barakatam. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, glory, and infinite honors to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai. Double honors to the apostles and elders, the great millstone who rule and teach well. And peace and salutations to you Akim out there pushing this word in truth and sincerity to the four corners of the globe. May you brothers endure until the end. This is the brother Raya with another video, and I'm going to start it off with Matthew chapter 24, verse 14. And this gospel of the kingdom shall be preached in all the world for a witness unto all nations, and then shall the end come. Salakia. And ever since the apostles of GMS, a great millstone, went on YouTube back in 2007, you've been seeing things just get worse and worse and worse. These end times prophecies are beginning to come to their fulfillment. That's because when the apostles went on to YouTube, this true gospel went to the four corners of the globe through the internet and woke up the Israelites scattered across the planet. That's why you've got GMS camps in the Philippines and Romania and Britain and Holland, what have you, further preaching this gospel, further bringing forth this end, which we're on the precipice of all hell breaking loose. 2019 has been deemed the year of the Charagma, or the year Esau really pushes for this chip. And we know that when Esau makes that microchip implant, which is the mark of the beast mandatory, it's game over. But in this video, I'm just going to show a sign of the times, showing biblical prophecies that were said to be happening in these latter days, which are in the last seconds of these latter days. I'm going to go to my first article on endoftheamericandream.com titled, Is It Beginning? 10 significant earthquakes rock the California coastline as Mount St. Helens rumbles back to life, and there shall be earthquakes in diverse places. And there are earthquakes happening every day around the globe. Just go to those YouTube channels of those earthquake trackers. They're showing you just how prevalent these earthquakes are. Definitely not what the mainstream media would lead you to believe. Scientists tell us that someday the big one will strike California and large portions of the coastline will plunge into the ocean almost instantly. And if there's one thing I can guarantee you is that a big one will strike California in the form of nuclear missiles, which are going to turn not just California, but the rest of America into a nuclear wasteland like that game Fallout. Could it be possible that we are a lot closer to that day than many had anticipated? Over the past several days, there's been a lot of shaking along the North American portion of the Ring of Fire. In particular, during a 24-hour period over the weekend, one area of the California coastline was hit by 10 earthquakes of at least magnitude 3.0, and this created such a stir that it made the front page of the Drudge Report. The following comes from a local newspaper, and also in the first 9 days of January, 81 earthquakes hit in Alaska. They're just happening back to back to back and constantly. 10 earthquakes of preliminary magnitudes between 3.0 and 4.5 struck off the coast of Northern California between Saturday and Sunday, the United States Geological Survey reports. Hopefully, all of this shaking will turn out to be nothing, but many are concerned that they could potentially be foreshocks of a larger event. One of the first quakes hit early on Saturday. They just kept happening one after another. The first earthquake struck early Saturday morning at a magnitude of 4.3, while a second earthquake of 3.2 magnitude rumbled about 30 minutes later. 3 additional earthquakes hit between 4:30 p.m. and 5:38 p.m. Saturday in the same area, registering magnitudes between 2.9 and 3.6, USGS reported. A 3.0 magnitude earthquake struck that night at 11:37 p.m. The geological activity continued into Sunday. USGS reported 4 earthquakes near Petrolia between 2:18 p.m. and 4:05 p.m. The earthquakes ranged in magnitude from 3.4 to 4.5. Further south along the Ring of Fire, Mexico was hit by an even larger earthquake on Friday. A strong earthquake jolted southern Mexico on Friday, rattling nerves and swaying tall buildings hundreds of miles away in the capital, but there were no reports of serious damage, injuries, or deaths. The U.S. Geological Survey reported that the quake had a magnitude of 6.6. It was centered about 10 miles from the city of Tapachula in Chiapas State and struck at a depth of 40 miles. If you follow my work on a regular basis, then you already know that I have been regularly documenting the dramatic rise in global seismic activity. The crust of our planet is cracked and we are just floating on pieces. Now those pieces appear to be getting increasingly unstable, and that could mean big troubles for all of us. And soon enough, you'll see even more major earthquakes that are going to cause mass numbers of people to die. But now I'm going to go to my next article on shtfplan.com. Outbreak of flea-borne disease typhus. Los Angeles descends into third world hellscape. There shall also be plagues in these latter days. And California is just getting a lot of that work happen to it. And you've also had those military drills in Los Angeles, which is just a precursor to martial law. And all these things happening in California are just a microcosm of what's going to happen to the rest of the United States. Residents and officials in the city of Los Angeles, California, are horrified that their city has descended into a third world hellscape of poverty and disease. The typhus outbreak raging through the city is a flea-borne disease often reserved for socialist and poverty-stricken dystopias such as Venezuela, as well as the United States of America. And typhus is one of those old school types of plagues. But that's modern Los Angeles. Typhus is spread by fleas hitching a ride on rats. While the general population struggles under the weight of the government, local, state, and federal in LA's cases, and the homeless population continues to climb up, the same cannot be said for the rats that carry fleas that cause typhus. The rat population in LA is doing just fine, however, as piles of garbage dot the cityscape, making it Thanksgiving Day every day for the city's fat, happy rodents, wrote the American Thinker. And when the U.S. Infrastructure collapses and garbage men are no longer able to come get the trash, you're going to see pestilences like this break out all over the country, because that garbage is going to breed animals such as rodents and all other types of diseases, as well as people dying of starvation. You're just going to have dead bodies full of diseases laying across the country. According to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention's website, murine typhus is also called the endemic typhus, or flea-borne typhus, is a disease caused by a bacteria called Rickettsia typhi and is spread to people through contact with infected fleas. People will get sick with murine typhus when infected flea feces are rubbed into cuts or scrapes in the skin. In most areas of the world, rats are the main animal host for fleas infected with murine typhus. Murine typhus occurs in tropical and subtropical climates around the world where rats and their fleas live. Yet now it seems that the disease is taking over and spreading, along with hepatitis A, through Los Angeles, thanks to the socialist policies that enrich the political elite and enslave and impoverish everyone else. I'm going to go to my next article on activistpost.com titled, "The U.S. faces a catastrophic food supply crisis in America as farmers struggle. There shall also be famines." American farmers are battling several issues when it comes to producing our food. Regulated low prices, tariffs, and the inability to export have all cut into the salaries of farmers. They are officially in crisis mode, just like the United States' food supply.